Hello and welcome to Barb Talks. Today I'm talking about decorating my home currently for the current holidays at this particular phase of life that I'm in. But before that, I wanted to talk a little bit about previous phases. There's the phase of when you're a little kid and you want all the toys and all the glitter around the house and you want just the excitement. And then there's the young adult when you get your first place and you're decorating it however you want to. Maybe you're getting a big tree. That's what I did. I went out and got a tree and brought it in and decorated it and made homemade ornaments because you couldn't necessarily afford brand new ones at that time when you're just starting out on your own. And then there comes the time when you have a family and you take the kids up to the tree farm and you find the perfect tree and you chop it down together and you get it shaken out so all the bugs get out of it, and you take a tour of the tree farms. They usually have hot cocoa or a hayride or petting animal area, going out and getting the tree, bringing it home, decorating it together with Christmas music, putting up the little tchotchkes, letting your kids help you decorate. And then the kids leave home. And then you're going, now what do? I really don't want to put all the time and energy and effort into all these decorations that I have to store and clean and then take down after it's all done. I'm in that phase where my adult kids are off on their own. They have their own places. What I did was gave them their own ornaments, because throughout the years, my mother would make handmade ornaments for all of her grandkids. So both of my kids have quite a collection of handmade ornaments from Grandma, specifically made for them. So those went to them. And then throughout the years, when we'd be on vacation, an opportunity to buy your kid a little something special, we might have gotten an ornament for them having to do with an activity they were interested in at that time. My daughter was into playing the steel drum, so we got her a little ornament of a drum. My son loved gymnastics, so we got him a little gymnastics figure. So that's the kind of thing that we did, and all those ornaments went with those kids when they left home. So now I get to reevaluate and go, well, what phase am I at now? And currently I am at the phase of decluttering, downsizing, but also creating with what I already have. And it's almost like going back to when I first was on my own, even though I'm with my husband now, of course. But he's not all that. He appreciates whatever decorating I do. He doesn't really want to be a part of it. So what I'm doing now is focusing on using different fabrics, such as in the holiday season, I find things that are red or white or green fabric and bring them out to help decorate. What's nice about that is most of the fabrics have double uses. They double as table runners or sheets or blankets or throws. I also decorate with plants and candles. They're the same plants I have all year long, but that extra greenery playing off of that in the holiday season is something I'm enjoying. Taking items that I use every day in the winter and incorporating them into the decorations. So let me give you a tour of how I've put those concepts to work. Starting with the living room, using lights to the best advantage. During this season, I like putting up lights, and it's okay to match plain white lights with colored lights. And how I attach these is with push pins. I guess that all my push pins are up high here, but I'll show you in another area when I get to it. And those lights are on, just the camera takes it in different angles and looks like it's not. How I use the push pins is I put the push pins into kind of between the wall and the wood, because we have lath and plaster, so I need to get a good grip to it, and then put the cords around it like that, and it holds it in place at the top as well. Sometimes what I'll do is, instead of putting it through, I'll put it in front of. This is more what it looks like on the top. I have push pins on the top to hold it in as well. And just kind of drape the lights around the push pins. Another thing that I talked about candles, I did a Barb Talks on candles recently, but this is one that I bring out during the holidays. And what I like about it is the heat from the candle. The hot air rises up and it sends the chickens around. So that's a fun kind of kinetic structure. Here's an example of using a scarf as a runner. Yes, it's a wearable item, but it also can be used as decoration. Same over here, I've used a scarf to go around the bottom of this little Christmas tree. This is just a dollar store, back when dollar store was a dollar. I got that, and then those are some ornaments I've had for years. Some of the shine is even off on some of them, they're so old. These I think were mostly from IKEA, and in the past I used them to decorate our houseplants. But now that I'm not getting a tree anymore, that's my idea of a tree. And then we've got a plastic wreath and some little birds. This is something that I bring out every year too. I do still have some decor like the wreath and the tree that are little plastic things that I bring out that are part of the season. And even though this is a creche scene, I've also created it as a family diorama because we are a family of 4. And even though my children are adults now, it's fun to have the mom, the dad, the older daughter, and the younger son to be represented in our family this time of year. That's a little bit of my using something for 2 messages, 2 things. And this is an Advent candle. So every day, starting on November 30th, we're gonna burn down to there. My sister-in-law gave us this. It's kind of a tradition of hers. She gives out an Advent candle to all of her siblings and nieces and nephews and kids. And every year it's a different candle, so that was just kind of a nice thing. Another way to incorporate items is to use books. This is obviously a book about guinea pig nativity, but if you've got books that have red or green or white color, to put those on display or to line them up on a counter, just to bring some color, just using books. And then the regular plants are green. I brought out some stockings. This is just a homemade stocking that I made out of felt. Just sewed 2 sides of felt together and then some white felt there and a little red ribbon. Made a pocket to put something in. This is the stocking my husband has had since he was a kid, but that's special to him. And this is something that I made out of fabric. Again, using fabric. This was an old sheer curtain, and I just cut out some yellow plastic and some red felt and some black velvet and created a fire in my fireplace. These are some IKEA balls that are unbreakable, and I put them in a big wine plastic. Is that plastic or glass? Plastic wine glass. And then I put saran wrap on the top because I don't want to have to dust it. And then another handmade stocking. Here's an example of using a fleece blanket as decor and then changing out pillow covers. IKEA pillow cover in white. I use that actually quite a bit during other seasons as well. And instead of a pillow form, I just have an old bed pillow in there that I can wash. And a red cover, so you've got the changing out of covers. And over on the pink chair, I have a throw blanket that I've just tucked in so that it covers up a chair that's an antique and has seen better days. Oh, and we've got some sleigh bells. My grandpa had a farm and he had horses. I don't remember the horses. They were not in his farm by the time I was around, but when my dad was little, he had horses. And these are literal sleigh bells that were on the horse. So antique sleigh bells can ring in our house. And we've got my fluffy little dog. When I sit in the chair, I'll put the dog on my lap. So it's kind of like a throw blanket in itself. So yeah, a different way to use scarves and blankets and throws and candles and books and plants. Another way to use books is if you've got a piano in your house and you've got Christmas music, to put an open Christmas book on your piano. And that way, if guests come over, they can feel free to sit down and start playing Christmas music if they want to. Another interesting candle that I bring out during the holidays, and a table runner. And using, again, fabric to liven up the color. Another thing that I've done, and this is an example of getting a family portrait. When you think about your family portraits, think about wearing clothes that represent a certain season, or at least could be seasonal. These aren't Christmas outfits, but notice that myself and my son at this family picture, and this is an older one, we're wearing the red and the green. And it's very colorful. We almost look like little Christmas lights with our different colors on. But we also have family photos where we are outside in front of the spring blooming trees. And it's just nice when you trade out your family photos to be able to have ones that you can trade out seasonally. I gave away, like I showed, most of the ornaments for trees, but this is something, it's a music box that Chris's mom gave us. It's just kind of nice having a few family mementos like the Christmas box and the creche scene, the stockings. Above my computer, I have a dollar store wreath. And this particular one, it was actually 2 wreaths that I pinned together because the wreath by itself didn't have much girth to it. And then I just got some little red birds to put in there. So you got the green and the red. Another use of items that are of double use would be, this is just hats. It's just hats, but they are hats that are colors, at least the reds of the season. And then for artwork, I just have a pot holder. It's a pot holder that has a wintry theme to it, and then I have a little silver bell hung near the top of it. So using hats and pot holders as decorations. Another thing that I have this season that I had in November as well is I put out, I call it my tea village. It looks like, you know how sometimes in Christmas they have like little villages that are made out of ceramics. And I figure, why not have it be a practical thing and have a place to make your tea in the morning? So I've got my tea village. Another thing is candies that have some color to them for the season. And candles. I have the candles, but I also have some more bells, red and silver. And here's some other decorations that I did keep. Salt and pepper shaker of Santas and tea rests or spoon rests of Santas. And my sister-in-law gave us those little Danish decorations. Here's another example of colors. This was the same photo shoot as the one above the piano. That's why we're wearing the same clothes. That was when we had guinea pigs as pets. That's another thing I recommend if you're interested, is to bring your pets to the family pictures, so that years later you can look at them and remember them and be happy. Also, this time of year, I try to do this every season, is try to find something food-centric to put on the table, and oranges are something that is in season right now. So let's go take a look in the bedroom. The red duvet in the bedroom, that big amount of fabric just changes the whole feeling of the bedroom. And then I also have added in green pillow covers, and I have some blue in the background. I could use all green, but I can, this way, I don't know, I just kind of like it. And then the family portrait we have over here. Notice how in this family portrait, a different year when the kids were younger, we dressed up formally. The men in suits, the women in fancy dresses. And so that kind of has a formal look about it, depending on, and this is a time of the year, holiday season. So it's like, okay, we're dressed up for the holidays. And then just putting a card, a Christmas card there from a past year to add to the festiveness of the bedside table. My husband has his book currently next to his reading area in the living room. Here's another idea, is for decorations, use your jewelry. So I've got jewelry, silver jewelry, as well as some little Christmas ornaments that I've hung from nails in the bedroom on the wall. But I like that because if I decide I want to wear those, I can just take off the ornaments, take off the jewelry and wear it. But it also works as using something that has dual purpose. Got the plant, the green plant, the salt candle. And this is a little stuffed gnome that my daughter bought me as an adult. And I just thought that is just adorable. And so when I wake up in the morning and I can look out at my dresser, I see a little happy holiday gnome and a couple more silver bells. So I think that is just adorable for the season. And then using books again, my bedside table book is right now a red book. These are just simple touches to be able to enjoy the holiday season in a simplified way during this simplified time of my life. What kind of decorations do you use? And are you familiar with using books and fabrics and candles and plants when you plan your holiday decor? Thanks for being with me today, and thanks for watching Barb Talks.